I got a brighter light I can turn on. Am I good though?
I mean, yeah, you can turn it on. I mean, yeah, you turn it on. I mean, it's good either way. But I mean, whatever I would say, turn it on and see what it look like.
All right.
All right. All right, Vic. For about 5 minutes, I'm gonna go off on the blogging situation because I hate it and hip hop journalism nowadays, and then we're gonna go into the show.
Oh, that's good because I got something to add to that.
All right, perfect. All right, let's get ready.
Can you see me now?
Yeah. You real good now. You perfect, man.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna get started. What's good? Y'all tune into the Corner Radio, hosted by your man Kill Man. I got my hip hop squad up here in effect with me. I got my man Veg. What's good, bro?
What's poppin', man? Good to be here, man.
No doubt. For the first time, I got my man. This is my man. We go back to '92, Morgan State, Jersey representative. I got my man Gary. What's good, fam?
Peace. What's good, man?
Man, everything is everything, man. Just glad to finally get you on here, man, and chop it up with you.
Yeah. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad you invited me, man.
Man, no doubt. Now, look, this we're going to get into. Normally, every week, I jump right into the topic. I'm going to take 3 minutes to just go in. A couple of weeks ago, Vague sent me this link for this article on the top 20 albums out of Philly. Right. And then he sent it to me on Twitter, and I was like, all right, let me check this out. I don't know what it's going to be like because I've been seeing these all the time. And, you know, the website is kind of suspect sometimes with their stuff. And he sent me the joint, and the list was horrible, man. It was the most horrible list I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
It was so horrible. I had to go. I looked up who the author was. Like, that's how bad it was. That I'm like, this dude cannot be from Philly. Talking like this, like my number one album from Philly was like number 19 for dude. You know what I mean? Like, this dude had 2 of Eve's albums as the top 20 albums that represent Philly, and I'm just like, come on. Come to find out, the dude from North Carolina. I'm like, how you gonna ask a dude from North Carolina to write an article on the 20 most dopest hip hop albums out of Philly? Like, there's no way I could even do that. Like, man, I spent every summer from 1st to 9th grade in Fort Greene, Brooklyn, on South Portland. Even if somebody gave me that assignment, I wouldn't be able. I'd be like, I'd have to call my Brooklyn people to be like, help me, because. Right. List. Like, there's no way I'm gonna go out and try to do that. You know what I mean? Or if Gary from Jersey, I'm not gonna try to be like, okay, these are the top 20 albums from Jersey. I mean, I know it's an opinion thing, but it goes back to what I'm always talking about, where hip hop, the culture is fucked up, is in the journalism aspect of that. You know what I mean? Because now all the time these blogs, they want free writers. They don't want to pay nobody for nothing. You know what I'm saying? And the site, I'm not putting it out. Well, it's hip hop golden age. I ain't gonna be the dude to not
it is.
Talk shit about someone. The dude who started it, hit me up like, you should write. And I'm kind of like Pooba, like, if the show ain't for dough, you won't see the bro. Like, dog, I've been in this game too long to be writing somewhere for free. But because you got all these blogs and everything like that, cats want things for free, so you get fucked up commentary because these people don't know what they're talking about. And I'm in no way saying, like, I almost feel like I'm Stephen A. Smith. Like, I gotta give the resume. Like, I went to school for communications. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you gotta have a background and all that, but I'm just saying for my pedigree, I went to school for communications. I did, host Strictly Hip Hop, Baltimore's #1 hip hop show for damn near 10 years.
No doubt.
The same for Vague. You know what I mean? So, and again, I'm not trying to say you gotta have that, because there are a lot of great dudes that I learned from in hip hop they didn't go to college at all. So I'm not trying to say that, but what I'm just saying is that we got to do a better job. I always tell people, if you got a blog, if you got anything dealing with hip hop, the culture, not the music, the culture, and you don't have somebody 40 or over on your staff, you're losing. Like, it's impossible. It's the same way with ESPN. You ain't gonna find too many people on. You're not gonna find anybody on air that's not at least 40. Michael and Jamel may be the youngest people, and they probably in their late 30s, early 40s. Yeah. Because the young dude that's 20, no disrespect to them, they ain't gonna be able to talk about sports like that because they ain't see Jordan play.
They don't have that history.
Yeah, you don't have that history, and it's the same thing. Like, and again, if it's just music, then that's another thing. If Drake want to have OVO records and everybody's 25 and under, that's cool because all you doing is music. But I'm talking about the entire hip hop culture. You gotta have us old heads on there to hold you down. I ain't said your whole staff had to be 40 and over, but you gotta have that one OG up there to kind of be like, yo, like, yeah, exactly. You know, to not be on some gatekeeper type shit, but just to be on some old like, nah, like that.
That's the reference. He's that reference. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You need that OG. The same way, just around growing up in the hood, you needed that OG to kind of give you that knowledge. You and your young boys would have been all over the place if you ain't had that uncle or that old head to just be like, nah, fall back, do it like this or do it like that. So I just think with hip hop journalism, that's where we're lacking. Again, you know, I'm not on no racial stuff. I got too many of my peoples who different races and everything, but it bothers me when every time I look up and it's a white person documenting our history. You know what I'm saying? When I saw Remy from Higher Learning, I always forget dude's real name, when he's doing the Tribe documentary, I'm kind of just like, where? Like Remy is doing the Tribe. I don't even understand how y'all, like, it's almost like, yo, like Eddie Murphy Pop, like, yo, you with Danny Terrio? Like, yo, why is Remy of all people doing the Tribe documentary? And you know, God bless the dead, MCA from the Beastie Boys. He did one of my favorite basketball documentaries, gunning for the #1 spot. And again, you know, love MCA, love the Beastie Boys to death, but yo, why again is it always white people documenting our history? You know what I mean? And a lot of times it comes down to that financial piece. Right. You know what I mean? Right. That they got to connect on and everything like that, because we don't have the money. I don't have the money to just be like, yo, the three of us, let's go do a documentary on, you know, Tribe. You know what I mean? We don't have that. So again, before I get the comments, I'm not saying I don't have no problem with white folk, you know, documenting our history. I just want us to be part of it too. You know, that's great that and MCA did that. That's wonderful. I'm not saying they can't touch it, because again, in the beginning, there were white folk in hip hop. You know, you watch Wild Style, it was white fat folk, you know, doing rap and doing their thing. So again, I'm never saying, oh, nobody ever take it like that. I'm just saying that we've got to document our history too. They can't be the only ones. So that was my little soapbox spill. Vegas, I know you said you wanted to scream on something too.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. And, you know, I was thinking, because of this podcast, like when I was doing a little bit of research about, you know, albums from Brooklyn, just so I can make sure I had a list that I was confident in, you know, I went across hip hop, you know, when you Google search or whatever, but I looked and hip hop golden age was up there, right? And they had a list of top 5 MCs from Brooklyn, and apparently they did that for every borough. Okay. So I wanted to look at the Brooklyn joint. It was like, well, let me see who's on there. One of the people that was on there, I was like, yo, he's not even from Brooklyn.
Wow.
And it was Guru. And you know, like when I was a kid, up until that one point where I think Guru might have mentioned it, I always thought he was from Brooklyn.
Right. You know, I mean, they got songs about Brooklyn.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. He rep Brooklyn hard.
Yeah,
he did. And you know, when he talked about where he moved from, I was like, oh, he's from Boston. But you know, like with hip hop golden age, and again, I can't take too much away because I didn't read the article. They could have mentioned that, but felt that he repped it enough. But when you have him in the top 5 and you have Jay-Z as an honorable mention,
whoa.
I was like, Kill is right.
I'm curious to know who was #1.
Yeah,
Kane was #1, and I ain't gonna front. When I was scrolling, I was like, yo, I ain't seen no Kane for a minute. And I was like, yo, where the fuck is Kane? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he was #1. But yeah, man, like Jay-Z wasn't on there, but Guru was on there, and I was like, who the and this is the best rappers. You know what I'm saying? So
OGP from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
From Brooklyn. I was like, Guru should be an honorable mention, no doubt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He should have been an honorable mention.
But that's the crazy part, that again, when you're dealing with these websites, you know, because you got a lot of cats who just want to try to get on, you know, and you know, and it's so funny because at least 10 people, word is born, have sent me to their website like, yo, Kill, you should write for them. And I just always reply like, LOL, like I appreciate, you know, but nah, I'm good, you know, because they're just looking for anybody who will write for them for free. And it's not just them. It's tons of, I'm not just taking shots at them, but it's tons. If there's any shot I'm taking, it's again, that OG would have shut that down. When somebody turned in that article, OG should have said, "Yo, Guru ain't from Brooklyn."
Yeah,
He did rep it hard, and like you said, let him be the honorable mention. But the fact that that stuff just goes under the radar almost tells me that it's like, yo, you don't even got an editor. Like at a you're supposed to have an editor that got to get past, cats know I love The Wire, like that 5th season of The Wire where they talking about the Baltimore Sun, like you needed the editor to kind of be like, nah, or you supposed to have the person to go through to make sure all the facts lined up, the spell check, woo, whatever, but yeah. And so again, I'm not just taking shots at them. I'm taking shots at a lot of hip hop websites, whereas I'm just like, look, you got to be able to really be able to make sure that you have credible writers, right? Yeah. And even if you don't, then hell, you be the only writer for as long as it takes until you get credible writers to be able to write for you. Because I've always said that's one of the things that's missing in the game nowadays is nobody wants to be a fan of the music. You know what I mean? Like when we was coming up, when Cash was working for The Source in the 90s, you had to love hip hop. You wasn't doing it for no other reason.
Yeah.
Than that you loved hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So that's the problem now so I don't want to keep belaboring that, but I'm just saying like blogs, websites, anybody doing anything for the hip hop culture, we gotta get more connected. You can't have somebody from North Carolina telling these the top 20, albums, from Philadelphia. You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's just not even possible, man. It's not even possible. So, but let's get started. Gary, this your first time chopping up with us, being a Jersey representative tonight. What's one of your Jersey albums that really you feel represents Jersey, to the max, man? First, and then two, tell everybody what part of Jersey you're from, because it's a big state. So tell me where you from, and then what's one of your joints that you would come in with for Jersey?
Yeah, first and foremost, I'm from Trenton, New Jersey.
Nice.
So yeah. So as far as for me, man, I would have to go with my hometown heroes, man. Poor Righteous Teachers, brother. That album, what was that joint called? Holy Intellect.
Yeah.
Holy Intellect came out back in 1990. That was my joint, man. Oh, okay. I see you got the CD.
Yeah. This is right there, man.
Rest in peace, Father Shaheed. Rest in peace, Tony D. But yeah, man, that joint was dope, man. That was like 1990. I was in like high school at the time, maybe senior year, and that joint was everybody was playing that. The video Rock This Funky joint was out. Yeah, them cats was hot. They was conscious, you know what I mean. They was popping. They represented, you know what I mean, that time, that era.
Yeah. This was my album, man. Like I love this joint. Like Wise Intelligence. He had that flow. He had was original, man. And being, from Philly, Trenton's right over the bridge for us. So it was like, there's a lot of stuff. I got a whole honorable mention of just South Jersey group, just because, Power 99 and Philly would burn them just as much as they be burning the Tough Crew and all them other Philly. So, yeah, and PRT, man. I think, what was your favorite joint on this joint, man?
My favorite joint? Wow. You know what? I would have to go back to get the titles, man. I don't want to say Rock This Funky Joint because that was probably the most commercial, man. But,
Right.
Top of the head, I can't think of no song titles right now off the top of the head. That was damn. Yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to that joint, man.
Yeah, nah, I feel you, for you see me, I gotta pull out CDs. Okay. I'm 43. My memory.
Yeah, you got that quick reference. You know what I'm saying? If I had that right there in front of me, I know I could listen I could name a joint.
I think my favorite joint on there was Styles Drop Lessons Taught, man. They just had that beat that was I can't even emulate it. Like, oh man, it was just so crazy. And it's funny that you said Tony D. For people who don't know, Tony D was a producer out of Jersey who was white dude, Tony D. Somewhere around here, I got like he had like a production album, Tony D. I got it around here somewhere.
Yeah, Tony D was the first cat. He was the first cat from Trenton that was on MTV Raps.
Wow.
Rest in peace. He died. I would say within the last 5 years, man, he died in some old crazy freak car accident, man.
Right. It was a car accident.
Yeah, right in the hood, man.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy, man. And Tony D also produced one of my favorite MCs out of Jersey. But you may name him. If not, I'm definitely naming him. But yeah, this joint was crazy. I love Shaquilla. That was my joint.
Yeah, and Shaquilla. Yeah, that was a fire joint. They had a video for that joint.
Yeah. You talking about everybody again? Everybody, Bonita Applebum, love it. But Shaquilla to me was like that hip hop love song that was just dope, man. It was just crazy. Yeah. And then Time to Say Peace.
They had sample in there, that Pac sample in there, right?
It had the sample. Yep, for Dear Mama. Yep.
Dear Mama.
Yep. Years before, man. So
before Pac used that, Tony D.
Tony D, man. Again, if for the younger cats out there, this is what I'm talking about. You need the old heads. You know, y'all always want to laugh at us. Like, y'all don't want to talk about nothing. But trust and believe, there's a lot of cats my age or older who never heard of Tony D, man. And again, you're not. Oh, I know it. You know, because his name wasn't really out there like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't really out there like that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. A lot of times people ain't read the credits to really see who produced what. So,
yeah. You know, I was on it like that. Like I said, plus they from around the way, man. These are dudes. I still see Wise Intelligent around. You know, I run into him at the shop right or something. You know what I mean? Real quick at the ATM or something. He's a neighborhood. He's very reachable, man. You know what I'm saying? The DJ Father Shaheed, he passed away too, though.
Yeah, he had a motorcycle accident, right?
He died. Exactly. He died. Well, I know you know, Kill. He died in a motorcycle crash.
Yeah.
So the other guy, Culture Freedom, I don't know if he's still doing music, but Wise Intelligence still doing music.
Yeah,
still dropping albums.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. All right, Veg, Brooklyn. Tell me something about. Let them know what part of Brooklyn you from, everything like that.
All right.
Hey, me and Veg need to switch T-shirts or something.
right. Yeah.
Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Talking about Trenton, New Jersey.
Yeah.
My bad though. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, Gates Avenue, Lewis and Stuyvesant, heart of Bed-Stuy. One of the albums. Well, I'm gonna just start off the top with Big Daddy Kane, Long Live the Kane.
Yes, sir.
The reason why, you know, like that album. Now, I ain't gonna say that album influenced me to rhyme because I wasn't really thinking about that back then. But as far as like, you know, like idols and walking around in BK hoping you see somebody like that, like I used to be anytime I was around Marcy Projects, I used to be thirsty. Like any nigga walk by with a flat top, I'd be like, yo, you ain't Kane, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But it was just because, you know, like with him, it was his demeanor, it was his flow, it was his skills. Like when I saw the Ain't No Half Stepping video, I watched that video 1,000,000 times. Like,
me too.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That shit was like, I know this is the 1,000,000th time I saw it, but I gotta stop and watch it because it's on. Because I just felt, I mean, I even emulated everything that was in it, from, you know, the hand gestures and the different scenes from the boxing ring, and you know what I'm saying? The looks and shit he giving the shorties. Like even, you know, and you know, I always got stories killed, but don't worry, this one won't kill you.
I don't want to hear nothing.
No, don't worry. This is a good story though.
Yo, hold on for a sec. Let me explain this to Gnu. Every time Vegas got a story, it always ends badly for somebody. It's always like this person wrote for this person. It's like, Vegas, stop killing. Like Vegas was that older cousin while Four Horsemen, and to be like, yo, wrestling fake. Like that was Vegas. Going to kill you in your childhood dream. But all right, let's hear the story.
This is a good one. This is a good one though. And actually, if you've seen the Times Zillmatic documentary, you get to see at least one of those. But back in the day, they used to do those. You go to JCPenney's or Macy's, and you could do like a video and shit. And they would, you know, you bring your music, dance and lip sync and all that shit, and they give you a tape and you go home with it. So my cousin, God rest the dead, him and his boys, including Nas, I remember when they did the Ain't No Half Stepping video at Macy's, and I remember when he brought the video by our crib and they were doing it. And again, you know, I was a moody, I still am, but you know, I was a moody kid and shit. So I'm looking at the video, I'm like, nigga, why you ain't Kane? You know what I'm saying? Because he was playing the crony. Remember the crony dude that stepped in the ring? But guess who was playing Kane?
Right, Nas.
Yeah. And you know, at the time, you know, I didn't even know he rhymed and shit. So I'm looking like, why you let the quiet dude play Kane? You supposed to be Kane and shit. Or you let the light skin do it. I should have said that. But but yeah, man, Kane, long live the Kane. Like it was so many hits on there from the Ramen Wiz to Raw to like what's the joint with him in Scoob or whatever.
You got the joint Just Rockin' with Biz on the bug tip. You talking about on the bug tip joint?
On the bug tip.
On the bugged out tip.
Yeah,
like everything, man. Like every record on there.
Yeah.
So that was one of them. Like when Kane emerged in the game, because back then in the '80s in New York City, everything was about boroughs, big time, and who was repping your borough. And Kane coming out was kind of like, yeah, Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Because we had people in the past, but this was like, nah, we gotta counter to KRS-One and Rakim and all these other boroughs or whatever. So Kane was like that first, to me, that first Biggie to Brooklyn, that first Jay-Z to Brooklyn type dude.
Right. Yeah, that's dope. And just for everybody who may not know, and we still want to do a show on this, Veg, is that Veg's cousin is Ill Will. So Ill Will, who is always talking about, that's Veg's cousin, first cousin. So he grew up with Ill Will and Nas and all them. So that's just how, just to tie into that story. The Long Live the King, man, this album was, I can't tell you so much about this album, man. I mean, look
at the cover, man. Look at the cover. He got broads feeding them grapes and shit, and apples.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, just like Veg said, I emulated everything. In Philly, I had the high top. They used to call me Big Daddy Kill. So, yeah, I mean, I literally, hell yeah. So, but, and the thing is, and I wanted to say this for a lot of young cats, because Veg, you know Nick, who's usually on the show, he like the resident young dude. I think Nick like 30-something. He always asks, yo, Kill, Kane really only had 2 incredible albums out. I don't understand why y'all have him top 5, or, you know, some people have him as the best ever when he's got like 7 albums out, only 2 of them was dope. And I'm always telling them, this is where I'm like, you had to be there. You know what I mean? Like, you had to be there. Because, this dropped in '88, but you got to understand, Raw probably hit the streets in '86. You know what I mean? So if you're a younger dude and you're just looking at the years on the back of the album, it's like, oh, well, he was only on top from '88 to '90. And I'm like, nah, like this is about you got to be there. Because when Raw came out, Raw was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, how people say now something shut down the internet. Nah, Raw shut down the streets. Like Raw was everywhere. You know? When Set It Off popped off, that Let It Go Get Bold.
Oh yeah, man.
I mean, come on, like in Marley and them, it was just like incredible. And then I mean, when you're even talking about that, you're looking at the joints that Kane was just throwing out there. What about the Rap for Kane? You know, that wasn't on this album. You know, when the Rap for Kane, you know, which was stupid. You know what I mean? And then when you're talking about Lean on Me for the movie, like that was crazy. You know what I mean? So cats got to understand that, you know, you can't just look at the dates and be like, oh, well, this came out in '88. Nah, these were the times when you may have had 2 or 3 singles out before the album even dropped. You know, which is to me one of the reasons why the Raw remix is on here and not the original, just because it was so old by the time this. You know what I mean?
By the time
you know what, you like, you make a good point, because I guess dudes got to look at it, and maybe similar, trying to look at it in the same way, but the way he looks at Kane is the way some people look at Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? They only see the Mike Tyson that was getting knocked out by bums, or when he lost to Lennox Lewis, but they don't understand. This was, first of all, this was a teenager at the time. For a heavyweight, he had incredible speed, you know what I'm saying, with power, and his defense was right. And he cleaned out the heavyweight division at the time, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what they miss, is like you say, what they had to be there. It's something that you haven't seen before. happening and shit. And Kane with the wordplay, he was different from Rakim. He wasn't like Rakim. His flow was new also, but he had all this wordplay that was kind of like, you know, beyond his years.
Right.
He just fucked it up with wearing the shiny suits too early. That's all.
Yeah. And you know what, man? I don't want to belabor the Kane point, but I want to get this so that a lot of people understand is that people, like when I was growing up, I thought Kane was my age, and he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought rappers was my age, hip-hop a young thing, where Kane may have been 19 when some of these joints was coming out. You know, so by the time that he was in the Don't Curse video with the champagne and the silk shirt, you know, when we always like, yo, what the fuck? He was just ahead of the time because in 5 years, Jay-Z was in the joint with the champagne and the silk shirt. You know, hip-hop just wasn't ready for it when Kane was good. You know what I mean? So that's the other thing too. So, but yeah, Kane was crazy. So for me, from Philadelphia, Uptown, West Oak Lane, Ogon Ave. For cats who may not know, I actually grew up on the street, Providence Street, same block Cassidy grew up on. That's my young boy. Literally, you look out, open my door, you see his house. You know what I mean? That's my young boy. That's my young dude. So that's where I'm from in Philly. And the first joint I got is Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Rock the House. Now, the funny thing about this album is I said this to Ev, and Ev is from Philly, but Ev is 2 years younger than me. He's like, come on, man. Well, that album wasn't that good, man. Come on. And I'm like, nah.
What year was that, though?
This year, this was 88. This is 88.
Okay.
You know, but the thing that people got to understand, and that I was trying to explain it to my daughter the other day, is that there was a time in hip-hop where you could be silly. You know what I'm saying? And this was still in those days. I'll never forget my man Michael. Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble to my crib. I think he had heard it somewhere, taped it off the radio, and we was just tripping because it's like, oh snap, he's using I Dream of Jeannie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There wasn't nothing corny about it. We wasn't like, oh man, this dude using. It was like, oh shit, like, because it was like, wow, finally a sample that we know. Like, yo, we know this.
Yeah.
You know, and he had the funny little story to it, and it was dope. And then, I mean, Rock the House, live at Union Square. Like, if cats have never heard this album, listen to Rock the House live at Union Square. Like, words more, I got the book right here. I'm glad I'm still pumping it for my man Paradise. This Ain't No Half-Stepping book about the days of the Latin Quarters. Yo, they talk about how Jeff and Will would come to New York and turn out the Latin Quarters. So this wasn't, Jeff and Will wasn't just some old, you know what I mean, some old little teeny bop group or whatever like that. Of course, they had those parents. But yo, people, and then again, like you said, Veg, for the younger crew, like even the teens I work with, off topic real quick, they was like, yo, Mr. Kill, when the Straight Outta Compton movie came out, they was like, Mr. Kill, Ice Cube was a gangster rapper? And I'm like, was he? That nigga is gangster rapper. But keeping in mind, these young kids don't know him from Barbershop, and are we there yet? So, you know, for them, they're like, yo, Ice Cube ain't no gangster rapper. I'm like, yo, trust and believe. So when people see Will, they see him as this movie star and don't see him as, you know, the MC that he was. But I mean, the magnificent Jazzy Jeff that's on here, to me, the first time I ever heard somebody do the Transformer cut, you know what I mean? And again, this is one of them songs that was back out like when I was in 5th grade. So we going back to 85, 86. Again, a lot of people don't understand in these days, the album say 88, but a lot of these joints was recorded, you know, before then. They got a touch of jazz on here where Jeff is just getting busy. And I don't know anybody in their right mind who can try to deny Jazzy Jeff's ability on the wheels of steel. You know what I mean? Like, you you can't do that. You know, there's one thing I always say about Philly: if we own anything in hip hop, it's the DJs. From Cash Money to Jeff to Miz to Tap Money, Philly will hold the DJ down. You know what I mean? So that's my first joint for Philly. Gary, what you got up next for your Jersey joint?
Number 2, man, I'm gonna have to go with your boy Reggie Noble with that What the Album. That What the Album. I mean, like, you know, this is my opinion. You know what I'm saying? This came out back in 92, and this was back in the Morgan days. You know what I mean? Redman. So you at Morgan, you got an MC, you know, repping Jers. He repping Jers all on the album. Yeah, there you go. There you get that cover, you know what I'm saying, with the red hands. That was a good look, man. That was a, you know what I mean? Redman was spitting. He was he was talking about weed. Everybody, you know, that was my introduction to the weed game, marijuana. So yeah, man, he was putting it down. He had Eric Sermon doing the beats.
Mm-hmm.
That Tonight's the Night joint on there, that was raw.
Yeah, man.
Mad joints on there. Superman Lover. Don't even let me, you know what I'm saying? Superman Lover, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Superman Lover, man. So yeah, man. What the album? That was my joint, man. Redman was different, man. He had a different style. He was witty. People said he was kind of gimmicky a little bit, but he kept it real, and he was repping Newark, man, the whole time.
Yeah.
That's number 2 for me, man.
Yeah, bro. This album, man. Anytime I listen to this album, man, I just think of 92 and Morgan, man. Like you can go nowhere without hearing this joint. I mean, it's a 5 mic classic to me, man. Like, I mean, Time for Action, So Rough, Rated R. Watch the Nuggets, man. That was my bang.
Watch the Nugget with E-Dub.
Yeah, like Jam for You was crazy, man. It was so many points that was just on here that was blow your mind, man. Just that alone, like it was so so many quotables on there, and I'll never forget. My old head in Philly, he used to mess with the joint. I think her name was pronounced Karen Mayo. She used to work for The Source, and this is like right after EPMD had got DOS, and he pulled me to the side, and they was like, "Yo, man, EPMD signed this new dude, Redman. He's crazy." And I was at that time, DOS Effects was the shit. So I was like, "Yo, man, ain't no way in the world he better than DOS." And he was like, "My nigga, like just like kill you, young stupid nigga. You just don't know." Like, I'm telling you, this nigga Redman is the truth. And then when I heard that EPMD album with that Redman Rated Rock Rough Rhyme, it was just like, oh, okay.
It
was like, okay, this is who my man Walt was telling me about. And yeah, Red. I don't know anybody who don't love this album. If you a Red dude, you know. So yeah, and Red was just so raw with it. Like Red just, I don't know, man. Red was the embodiment of hip hop, man, in my opinion. So you know, you can't go wrong with that. All right, Bag, what you got for Brooklyn next?
Next I got take it to the ladies. I'm gonna say because the album kind of grew on me over time and I liked it a lot, even though, and I mean, Kill, you gotta know this. She ain't really write most of it, but it's Lil' Kim, Hardcore.
Okay.
The reason initially when I knew it was coming out, I was like, whatever, I don't really want to hear that shit. But then as I started to hear more and I started to hear like the deeper tracks, I was like, I don't know if this was Biggie's idea or hers, but the overly sexual shit that had never been done in hip hop. Usually you got respect from a female because she was just as rough as a dude. Like, you know, you look at Nikki D and somebody tell you she better than that nigga, you like, yeah, I believe it. Look at her, man. She look like she crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? But Lil' Kim kind of had that hardcore rapping edge to her, but then she had the sex appeal. Like, and I don't know who came up with the line. Maybe it was her. But when she said drinking babies, I was like, holy shit. Like, it's like, yo, that was the first time, you know, and as somebody who writes.
Yeah, I never heard that before.
Yeah, like, you know, as a hip hop fan, you really get attached to lines that stick out, and you like, damn, that shit was kind of crazy. She said that, like, you know, I don't know if that's disrespectful to all women or not, but shit sound hot. But yeah, songs like Queen Bitch, you know, just with the production, like everything was just right about that album because it was a nice balance between records that could be, you know, radio hits, which they were. And, you know, just servicing that true hip hop crowd. Like, and I think that's what's kind of lost today. I think they service the radio and the pop music too much. And, you know, sometimes they throw us a mixtape or a bone or whatever that's like, here, this is for the hip hop heads. But yeah, man, that was the first time besides MC Lyte, where I was like, yo, she from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like that sense of pride. Because again, like MC Lyte, I didn't even know she was from Brooklyn. Again, I was kind of young, so I wasn't catching everything. But
okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah, like it was just more like, you know, I just heard the hits, and that was it. Because I didn't have the album till years later, Light as a Rock. But you know what I'm saying? Like with Little Kim, I think because that album kind of grew on me, because I initially didn't really care for it. And as far as like having Brooklyn in her pocket the same way Biggie did, you know, Foxy kind of had it also, but none of her albums was as good as Hardcore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And let's not forget the promotional poster.
Right.
That
the poster.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
Hey, yeah, man.
Yeah,
you know, yeah, exactly. When I saw the poster, I was like, shit, let me listen to this album. They got some pictures on the inside, like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just think overall, like, she had a huge impact on not just Brooklyn, but just the female rapping game, along with her counterparts. But yeah, Lil' Kim, Hardcore.
Now I feel you, B. And the funny thing about this is I don't know if cats could see this because kind of back in the day I used to put stars next to like what songs I like so I could just remember. So I have 2 stars if I love it, 1 star. If you could see, they're like 2 stars damn near next to every song. And I'm just saying that because a lot of times people will hear Little Kim Hardcore and never even heard the album and be like, what the fuck? You know, but yo, Big Mama thing with Jay was crazy.
Yeah.
Time was crazy.
How about the other joint? The remember how Big had Dreams?
Yeah.
She got a version of that joint.
You got to Spend a Little Dough. That Ski from Rocker Block did. Crush on You. Come on, that's just bonkers. Drugs was crazy. Drugs, that beat, that still bangs. The Dreams, like you said, the female version of Dream. Mafia Lane. Like the only song I didn't like on here was Player Haters and Fuck You. The last 2 songs. But outside of that, cats may think like, oh, that's just Lil' Kim, but there was some hard joints on here. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, you know. But I know a couple of cats will probably be like, word, you know, and never even listen to it. You don't know how many people I debate with hip hop, and I first got to ask you, did you even hear the album? And most people like nah. Like, well, then how you gonna say it wasn't dope? You ain't even.
You can't judge.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So that stopped a lot of arguments with me. I just got to ask questions first, you know, like. But the next joint I got up for Philly, and this is one of the CDs I don't have, which is shocking to me, but I don't have it. But my joint was Saturday Night, the album by Schoolie D. Now, for young cats out there, Schoolie D and Ice-T will tell you, everybody will tell you, this is the OG of gangster rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like the people who you think, whoever in your mind, when you close your eyes at night and you think is the godfather of gangster rap, that person will tell you, no, Schoolie D was the gangster of rap, of hip hop, you know. And again, with this album, it was re-released in '87 when he signed a job because Schoolie was independent for the most part of his time in Philly. But joints like Parkside 5-2, that was crazy. Saturday Night. You know what I mean? The Roots did a little joint.
Saturday Night.
Yeah, the Roots did a little joint saluting that on Things Fall Apart with their song Without a Doubt. If you ever seen King of New York, Schoolie D is up in that when Lawrence Fishburne and them high. You know what I mean? Because a lot of cats may not have heard of Schoolie. He had this joint housing the joint. Like I said, Schoolie Gucci time. Looking at my Gucci, it's about that time. Like Schoolie D was that dude, just simplistic beats, gangster rhymes. And I remember being in Philly being like, yo, losing my mind one time because, you know, around that time, all the rappers from Philly, for the most part, were from West Philadelphia. Will, Cash, all them dudes. So Schoolie, when he would talk about Parkside 5-2, I had no idea what he was talking about, but Parkside is an avenue on West Philly.
Right?
Yeah, in 52nd Street. So one time, you know, my mom was cutting through the park, and I seen a Parkside Inn, like the bar that Schoolie was talking about. Man, I lost my fucking mind as a kid. It was like, oh shit, nigga, that's what Schoolie talking about. Because you got to realize I'm a shorty. I'm like 10, 11 years old, you know. So to go somewhere like and be like, oh, that's where Schoolie's talking, like, oh, this 52nd and Parkside, like, oh, okay. So and again, on Hip Hop Golden Age, the dude had this album ranked number 19. Like, I don't know if there's any more of a disservice that you could do to Philadelphia hip hop or hip hop in general that you make an album that this could be my number 1. I'm not saying them in no order, but this will probably be my number 1. And for somebody to have it at 19, this dude had 2 Eve albums on the top 20. I I didn't even know Eve had 2 albums out. Word is Born, and I'm from Philly, you know. So the fact that you got 2 Eve albums ahead of Schoolie D, bro, that from the door, I was like, here we go. But
That's just
Saturday night is my next joint. Gary, what you got for your third joint from Jers?
Man, number 3, I'm gonna go with I gotta go with the Fugees, man. Score. I mean, another I think what that came out 96.
Yeah.
So I was down Morgan. Of course, once again, that's all everybody was playing at Morgan. Hill, tearing, destroying every track on there. You had her and Wyclef going back and forth. How Many Mics? I would probably say that was one of my favorite joints on it. That beat, man, was crazy.
Yeah.
How Many Mics? Of course, it had Ready or Not. That joint, Zealots.
Oh yeah, that was my joint.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was hot right there. So they representing Jers, my man Proswell. Yeah, that was number 3 for me, man. As far as repping.
Yeah. Then the crazy thing with this joint, man, my joint on here that a lot of cats would sleep on, man. Cowboys with Rod Dick.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Oh man, yeah.
He was on there.
Yeah.
Rod Digger.
Yeah, that was my
Jersey,
joint.
Another dope female MC from Jersey.
Woo, Rod, oh man, trust man, Rod was and is still stupid, man.
Yeah,
but,
I want to put her in my top 5, but I don't know. Top 5 is really top 100, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we had to limit it down to 5, man. But
yeah, nah, this joint was my banger, and I loved it just because Lauren was so nasty. Like it was just like, and I forgot what song is on, but when she said, and I'll add a motherfucker so you ignorant niggas hear me. You know what I mean? It was just always that, like, she would just give you that, like, just her rhyming seemed like so easy. Like, it's almost like that playground nigga with the handle. Like, it just seemed like it just come effortless. And, like, Lauren rhyming was just, like, effortless. Like, she would just wake up with rhymes or something like that. And it's funny, a lot of people give Pras hell, but Pras got one of my favorite lines in hip-hop: too many MCs, not enough mics. Like, I always say, y'all can front on Pras all y'all want, but that too many MCs, not enough mics line was important then and is even more important.
Yeah, that's a powerful line.
Yeah, people don't think about that, but that right there is like that explains a lot about hip hop right now. So that's a dope joint. Babe, what you got for number 3, bro?
Yeah, real quick with the score, man. I played that joint to death, man. Like I was at Morgan at that time too, and I just remember. I think that was what 90. What was that? 96.
95, 96.
Yeah, I was living in OC, O'Connell Hall, and that's all you heard in the hallway, man. Like every fucking room, like everybody was playing shit. The hell yeah! Then somebody break their shit. It's like, yo, let me get a copy because I gotta continue this binging of this album and shit.
Yeah. It's funny. My fault, Vic. I just remember some quick story about the song and to talk about sometimes timing with hip hop. At the time, I was, of course, working at EAA, and my man Manny used to work at Sony, and he was working the score, and we were talking one day, and he was just saying how, so much in life and about music is about timing, because he was saying hip hop at that point was so like not over the top, but everybody was so rugged and rough at that time. You know what I mean? And then he was saying when they dropped it, it was the perfect kind of like break from that. Because he was like, yo, if we dropped this album a year earlier, you know what I mean? But he was talking about how the timing of it was perfect, dropping with Fuji La and, Lauren singing and, just that went into the album. Just talking about just the timing of it and that, again, you can have a perfect album because if you drop that album maybe 2 years too late or 2 years too early, the tide of hip hop changes, So he was like, it's not just a great album, but it was also the luck of just dropping it at the right time and everybody kind of needing that. Like I need a timeout from all the shooting and the killing and the weed and everything. And then Fuji La was just that. And then Killing Me Softly was crazy. And And one of the DJs, Titan, was telling me, because he worked at one of the record stores in Baltimore, and he was saying that everybody loved Killing Me Softly. So what was happening was everybody was coming into the store, old people, young people, hip hop people, everybody wanted that, and it wasn't on 12-inch, so you had to buy the album. So that also helped push the record sales because everybody loved that song, everybody wanted that song, so it was like, just give me the album. So, you know, that was one of those hip hop albums that, you know, you may walk into somebody's house and their moms may own, and they ain't heard nothing else but Killing Me Softly, but that's another thing. One of the promotional things that they did on purpose was they had to like that to help push the album sales. Just another little trick of the trade of how labels had to promote artists, you know what I mean, and help you get out there. You know, it's not always the music. You got to have a good team behind you to promote it. Just a story I thought of real quick. My bad, Vic. What's your number 3?
Yeah, no problem. Number 3, I got Black Moon, Into the Stage.
Ooh, okay.
I was in high school when that came out, and for people, you know, like, you know, of course y'all, but for younger people who ain't know about, like, you see the way they dressed on that cover with all that shit on, all them hoodies and all this, that's exactly how everybody in BK, every dude at least, some of the girls too, was kind of dressed like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the overly sized clothes, you know what I'm saying? The army fatigues, all of that. And that was kind of before they started really pushing that boot camp, you know, crew thing, even though it was kind of there, but not like how it was afterwards. But I remember I still have that album. Hold on 1 second. I still have, even though I haven't, you know, I had it on CD and all that, I still have my original tape from when this shit came out,
1993, 92?
Yeah, 93, yeah. 1993. This is the exact tape that I put in my Walkman and walked to high school, Fulton Street, Boys and Girls High School, every day listening to this. I mean, when I say I played it to death, I'm surprised I still got it, because you know how tapes would pop back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think even though like we always look back at the 90s and everything was real grimy, just like Wu-Tang Into the 36 Chambers, this is one of those, and Illmatic, this is one of those albums that just sounds grimy. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, it didn't even sound like they was in a studio. It just sounded like they was just in a corner somewhere, and you know the music was loud enough. And couple of standout joints for me, of course, Who Got the Props. I think how many MCs, but what I was gonna say was, I think what kind of catapulted their career and their status in hip hop was some of those remixes.
Yeah.
Like I know once I heard the Got You Open remix, the Barry White sample, and Buckshot had a totally different flow from anybody rapping at the time.
Yep.
It was just like, yo, this group just keeps getting better and better. Like, you know what I'm saying? I already love the album. Now they putting out these remixes with these beats and these, you know, Buckshot changing it up. And even with I Got You Open remix.
Yeah.
I love that joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just one of those things where, again, you know, they from Bed-Stuy, and not too far from another dude on my list who everybody knows. But it was one of those, again, the moment I had with Kane, the moment I had with Little Kim, where that pride of being from that borough comes to you. You know what I'm saying? And feeling like you see yourself when you see them. But yeah, man, Black Moon, Into the Stage. Any young cats out there, you know what I'm saying? You want to know what Brooklyn was like in the 90s of staircases and niggas breaking up weed and shit? And you got to carry your groceries upstairs and shit. You got to be like, pardon me, dude. Listen to this album along with all the other albums that came out around that time. Classic.
Yeah. Now this a 5 mic class. I mean, I don't think there's a song here from Powerful Impact, Niggas Talk Shit, Act Like You Want It was my joint. Act Like You Want It was crazy. Buck 'Em Down, Black Smith and Wesson with Tech and Steel, Son Get Wrecked, You the Man with Havoc. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, shit is real. You know, the funny thing about this is you can kind of tell that How Many MCs was probably recorded at the end of the album, because you could kind of see how Buck, you could hear, you could start to begin to hear what was going to become I Got You Open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could kind of tell that was one of the last joints.
Facts.
And I love the How Many MCs video, just the projects, you know, just you know, when they just standing there, you got they in the elevator rhyming, just the whole flow of that. And yeah, man, just Evil D and Mr. Walt on the beat, you know, and just the introduction of the Boot Camp Click, man, which is my personal favorite hip hop crew ever. I love the Boot Camp Click, so again, you can't go wrong with this. And going back and new, I actually found the joint. This that Tony D album I was telling you about.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Harvey Wallbank.
Yeah, that's in the background. That looked like the Trent Makes Bridge in the background, man. On the cover.
Yeah.
Let me see the cover again. You still there?
Yeah. Can you see it?
Oh, okay. Nah, you're not on the screen right now.
Oh, I'm not? Vague.
I just see Vague on the screen.
So Vague, you can't see me either?
Yeah, I can see you.
All right. Yeah, shit, Gary. I don't know what happened. But yeah, but this the other joint, man. The Tony D joint I was talking about. The next
back now. You back on.
Oh, I'm back. All right, here's a joint.
Yeah. No doubt. That look like the Trent Make Bridge, but in the background.
Yeah, but this is the dude we was talking about earlier who passed away, Tony D. Very dope producer. The next joint I got up, 3 Times Dope, original style. You know what I mean? These dudes right here.
Yeah.
I used to get hell because, like I said earlier, I used to go to Brooklyn every summer. And my cousins were always, and their peoples in Brooklyn would always give me hell, like, yo, Philly hip hop, y'all corny, y'all whack, y'all, you know, y'all got them bubblegum rappers and everything like that. But when these dudes came out, like EST was nice.
Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah, no doubt. EST was nice, man. It was like, yo, I mean, Greatest Man Alive, original style and Funky Dividends was dope. From the Giddy Up, Straight Up, Crushing and Busting. Like, there's so many joints on here that, again, you know, I know most people probably outside of Philly only know it from Funky Dividends and Greatest Man Alive, but there's some joints on here that were just freaking bonkers, like just Philly hip hop lore right here.
You know what's crazy? Like when even with them, and when you talked about like Fresh Prince, again, when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? I kind of still listen to music the same way now. But I would kind of get into the vibe I would get from hearing certain MCs before I would really dig into everything they were saying. And anytime I liked the shit, you know, I would be like, yo, these niggas is nice. Where they from? And I would always assume, you know, well, they ain't say Brooklyn because we don't hesitate to say this shit. So I was like, well, maybe they from like Queens or Long Island, some shit. And I remember being surprised every time because I would be like, damn, Fresh Prince is from Philly? And even with them, and that's what kind of opened me up to like, yo, you know, there's besides the West Coast, you know, there's other places where dudes is nice just as much. You know what I'm saying? Because New York sometimes could be a bubble where it's just about the boroughs, at least at that time. And it's hard for anybody to break out. So like you said, with Fresh Prince and them coming to NY and rocking, they had to, you know what I mean?
You had to. That's where you got your props at. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but yeah, the other thing about this group is for people who may know a little bit about Philly history, the next person up, well, I'll get into a little bit more, but yeah, 3 Times Dope. If you never heard this, check it out. One of the travesties is their second album, Live from Mac Nicholas Land, was kind of out there. It wasn't as dope. You know what I mean? They had, what was that joint called? God, I got it right here too. This joint, Weak at the Knees. Like it was, you know.
I remember that.
It was their radio joint, you know what I mean? But the funny thing is that my man used to dance for Larry Larry, who was down with 3D. And they had a third album that was bonkers. I mean, it was stupid, but it got shelved and it never got released, and it's crazy. But yeah, so that's my next joint, 3D. Gary, what you got for your next joint, man?
For number 4, man, I said I chose Naughty by Nature,
Mm.
and personally, I fuck with Naughty, but I wasn't like a super huge fan. But I gave him that number 4 spot because they deserves, of course. But those dudes, everybody loved them from Jers, and like you know, at the time that album came out, I think it was probably my freshman year at Morgan, my fall semester there, and Tretch lyrically, Tretch was dope. And I like you know how they put everything together, but I just felt like some of the songs on the album just wasn't as strong as they could have been. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it was rushed. They was trying to put their stuff out there. I don't know, but I gave them number 4. You know, just because they rep Jersey and they was big.
Yeah.
Hip Hop Ray.
Yeah.
You know that joint. What was the joint, man? That they have doom 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 doom.
Uptown Anthem.
Uptown Anthem off the Juice soundtrack.
Uptown Anthem.
Damn, he fell off. Damn. But yeah.
Well, yeah. Let me say something real quick. I know even to this day, what is the joint? Everything's Gonna Be All Right off the first album. Yo, the storytelling. And
Tretch can tell some stories.
Yeah, the conviction in Tretch when he tells that story, I felt that shit.
Yeah. I love that
to this day, man.
Yeah, and I love that line at the end. If you ain't from the ghetto, don't ever. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, it's funny because I was just listening to Yoke the Joker the other day, and I mean, like, if cats really want to know about how nasty Tretch is, you know, because I think one of my young boys asked me, because I think Tretch is like beefing with some dude out West Coast, some whack.
Oh yeah. He
about Pac or something. And my man was like, "Oh, Tretch, he just did them little sing-songy raps." And I'm like, "See, bro, this what I'm talking about. You need the OG to pull you up." Like, he did the anthems, he did the hip hop parades and all that. But yo, trust and believe. I got a Naughtyville USA mix I did that was shock some people because Tretch had some fire.
Yeah.
Tretch was one of the most nastiest MCs at that time, you know, and I think M was talking about how much of an influence Tretch was on him. Like
he was in an interview, he mentioned Tretch, and that's one of the things I be telling dudes about when it comes to Eminem. Like, he's a hip hop head, you know what I'm saying, regardless of him being white, because who the fuck would think that he would bring up Tretch? Nigga, I wouldn't bring up Tretch, and I'm black.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But and then he not only brought him up as an influence, and you can kind of hear it in Eminem, but he also quoted some lines, like straight off, and saying, like, you know, when he heard it, it kind of blew his mind. And I think one of the things about Tretch and him being nice, where I knew, yo, he's really nice. He was fucking writing for everybody. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know he was writing for the youngsters. Well, you could kind of hear it once I found
that Cruise Pop joint.
You could hear it because they were rhyming like Tretch.
Right.
And what you call it? Queen Latifah's Black Rain album. Like, he wrote all over that shit too. So yeah, man, Tretch was nasty, man.
Yeah. Tretch was a problem. Gary, you back, babe?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. But it's like a little feedback. Like
I can't see nothing right now. My screen is black.
Yeah, well, we got you. If you got to pay like earbuds or a pair of headphones, it's like feedback, like it's a you hear talk twice on there. But it's in your phone.
Yeah. Can you see me still, or you could just hear me?
No, we can see you.
Oh, okay. Right now my screen is black. I don't know why.
I guess try to do this. Try to log off and log back in. Yeah, but yeah, Tretch was a problem.
Yeah, man.
But all right, let me go with my next joint. The next joint I got up is kind of like a tie. Hold up, is that? Hold up, let me see something.
Yeah.
All right, is it still there? Nah, it's good now. All right, Gary, you back?
I can hear y'all, but I can't see nothing on my screen right now. But I mean, I ain't gonna one monkey ain't gonna stop no show.
Yeah, nah, it's good. It's good. We'll keep it rocking. All right. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn you down until it's time for you to talk because it's feedback on your end. All right.
Oh, word. See,
Yeah, like every time I talk, it's like an echo.
It's thundering and lightning right now where I am. So
Yeah, it is.
That has something to do with it, man.
Yeah, that may be it too.
Storm going on out here.
Yeah, because it wasn't happening before. We were good to go before. So I'm gonna just turn you down until it's time until I come to you. All right.
All right, man.
All right. So yeah, the next joint I got it's almost a little bit of a tie. I hate doing ties, but it was hard. It's Steady B. You know what I mean? A lot of people may only know him now as, you know, the dude who, you know, is doing time on death row. Well, no, he's not on death row. Cool C is. Steady B is just in jail for life for killing the first female police officer in Philly during a bank robbery.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you ain't know that story, man?
I knew the story of the bank robbery. I didn't know it was him.
Yeah, it was him, Cool C, and I think E Marbles. You know, when they were doing their group CEB, when they was on Rough House Records, they was robbing banks to kind of, you know, keep their music going. But prior to all of that, Steady B was one of the first real dudes out of Philly. Like, I'm going back to 84 with like his album Bring the Beat Back. You know, he had a joint, because a lot of people don't know, like Shan and Shantae, they were on Pop Art when Shantae first dropped, and that's out of Philly. So they were coming down to Philly to get a lot of, you know, to get a deal, which just sounds crazy that people from New York had to come to Philly to get a record deal, you know, but that was kind of like the beginning stages of hip hop. But he had a joint called I'll Take Your Radio, talking about LL, you know, so Steady been in the game for a minute, but his album, What's My Name, you know, and again, it's probably just some Philly shit that nobody else would probably ever heard of, but I mean, he had joints on there, Believe Me That's Bad, Don't Disturb This Groove, Funky Drummer, Use Me, My Benz, The Hilltop. That's all off What's My Name. And then the other album that I had to kind of tie it with was Let the Hustlers Play. And this was a joint that probably everybody knew with the Serious KRS-One remix. You know what I mean? Because that's when they had the joint with KRS, and now we must take the time to remix it. And then it just, with the little sound like it's a carnival or something, but like that joint Serious was crazy. KRS did another joint on there called The Undertaker. You know, so Steady B was just a dope Philly pillar, especially in the early 80s. You know, and two, going back with 3D, they was with the crew called the Hilltop Hustlers. And then it's almost just like how it was with NWA and Cube. Like 3 Times Dope was like, yo, the money ain't right. Steady B's, I think his uncle was the manager. So then they started throwing shots at each other. You know, Funky Dividends. That's why the chick is like, when I was with Steady B, you know what I mean? Or Cool C's The Glamorous Life, you know, it's like, yeah, EST, he a nut, you know, and that's when they started beefing and everything like that. But so that's the thing. And just to say that Let the Hustlers Play, Steady B and 3 Times Dope was nowhere to be found on Hip Hop Golden Ages joint, which is just a travesty to me that these two dudes was not even included on that list. But again, EVE had 2 albums on there, which I don't get. Gary, what's up, man? What's your number 5 album for Jers, man?
Hold up, you ain't let me get my 4.
Can you hear me?
Oh, my bad.
What's my shit now? Oh, Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. I chose that album because I think like initially, like I had this, like me with Jay-Z, like I heard him before when he used to rap like the Fushnickens. It's not a joke. It's that shit was real.
Right.
But I didn't really care for him that much because around that time I was starting to get tired of the East Coast kind of having, you know, like the trick rhymes and shit like that. And I was just more into the Nas's and the Illmatics and, you know, that more serious side of East Coast hip hop, more like reality rap. So Jay-Z's wordplay was just kind of like whatever. But when he changed his style on the In My Lifetime remix, I think it was.
Even the single In My Lifetime.
Yeah. That's when I really was like, yo, I kind of fuck with him. And I remember this is before Reasonable Doubt came out. I used to go to this record store in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn on Fulton Street, called Beat Street. And it was a record store. I'd be in there all the time, whether I had money or not, just looking at records and shit like that. And I remember and I told this story on Strictly Hip Hop back in the day. But I remember this dirty ass little kid just came up to me out of nowhere. So, I'm looking like what the fuck you want, shorty? And he handed me a tape. And he was like, yo, Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt coming out in the summer. She gonna be crazy. So I look at it to see if it was real. Because remember, they had bootlegs and shit like that back then. And it was a sampler of Reasonable Doubt. And it had In My Lifetime remix. It had I think Dead Presidents 1. It had another song that was never even on Reasonable Doubt that I don't even think Jay-Z ever put it out. And I think I have it in here. And something else. And it was him rhyming in that new style. And I remember when I went back to Morgan, when you go home, you come home with some shit, you come back to Morgan, you like, yo, I got this shit, y'all want to hear Jay-Z, it's crazy. And I remember a lot of kids was like, it's alright, but it ain't better than Ghostface. And I was like, what the fuck? Like you hear this shit?
Right.
But I remember when Reasonable Doubt came out, I was working, that summer I was working in Manhattan, like right near for Chase Manhattan, right near the World Trade Center, the old one. And I remember, I was listening to music every day, and I remember, my Nas was coming out with his second album, but I was looking for that Jay-Z on the low because I knew they both were coming. And that whole summer, that's all you heard. You heard It Was Written and Reasonable Doubt the whole summer. Like, I think Tribe dropped, but nobody gave a shit except for me. They dropped Beats, Rhymes, and Life.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit but you.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit because this was Nas's follow-up, and then Jay-Z had a little bit of buzz. And I remember when I initially heard Reasonable Doubt, I kind of didn't like it because I didn't like the beats. And because I felt like for everything that was out at the time, those beats were a step back, you know what I'm saying, from what was coming out. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And what made me enjoy the album more, I started paying more attention to what Jay-Z was saying. And I just remember feeling like, damn, how the fuck I missed that? How I missed that? And it made the beats better because I was looking at Jay-Z like how I was looking at Nas, Black Moon, Wu-Tang. Like everything had to be grimy, gritty, hallway. But Jay-Z was like, nah, he was Stringer Bell before Stringer Bell. You know what I'm saying? And all that, while you dump through the source, I read the Raw report. I felt like, oh, these beats make a lot of sense now. You know what I'm saying? This is an upscale type. Yeah, exactly. This is different. This is, you know what I'm saying? I think that gave me a greater appreciation for the tracks because now I knew why they chose them. You know what I'm saying? And there was something else about that album that shit, I can't remember. Maybe it'll come to me. But I just know during that whole time, it took me a while to really, really like it and say it was a classic and say it was my favorite Jay-Z album. But years later, maybe 97, me and my roommate played Reasonable Doubt, and I'm not even lying, every fucking day like it just came out. And it was just because it was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Politics as Usual, still one of my favorites to this day. Can I Live? Ain't No Nigga with Foxy. Brooklyn's Finest, I love that shit. With him and Big, the whole debate, who had the better bars. And then Jay-Z had one of his greatest lines of all time where he was like, because I always have to tell this to my brother because he don't like Jay-Z. And I was like, yo, the nigga said, short sleeves are bare arms. Come on, man. Shit that's the shit I'd be thinking damn, why I ain't think of that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, man, Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z, Brooklyn classic regardless.
Yeah. Now I feel you. I feel you. The Reasonable Doubt. Again, I don't know if Cass can see it. It literally got the stars next to every song. And the funny thing is, in the beginning, I didn't like Brooklyn's Finest. I hated that beat, man. I love the rhyme.
Okay.
I didn't like the beat, and I never liked Cashmere Thoughts. I just couldn't. I never got with that joint. You know what I mean? But
Yo, Brooklyn's Finest. I love the original, the Ohio Players
right.
Ecstasy joint.
Yeah.
But real quick, if you own the Jay-Z album and the CD don't have the concrete with the little gun on it, you ain't got the real shit. I'm just gonna say that. You checking?
You got right there.
Yeah, there you go. Because remember, they put it out with "Can I Live" Part 2, I think, on the end in another record, and Def Jam kind of Def Jamified it and
right
changed it and all that. But that was the original grimy. The niggas hustled to make it happen. Mine's is broke, so I don't know why I'm talking shit because now I got the fake shit. So.
Right. All right, no doubt. Gary, what you got for your number 5 for jurors, brother?
Y'all can hear me. I'm good, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I name my top 5 and then name a runners up?
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right. So boom. Number 5, I would say is Queen Latifah, "Hail to the Queen." You know what I'm saying? For number 5, came out back in '89. 45 King. 45 King did a lot of beats on there.
Yeah.
And Wrath of My Madness was on there. I believe Ladies First was on there. Okay, yeah, that's the album right there. The joint that I really like on there, and it's something that I found out like later on, like years later, was a joint that she did with Daddy O called The Pros on there. It's like a reggae joint. I don't know if y'all heard the joint, but years later, like recently, like in the 2000s, I heard that joint. The Pros. I was like, I don't remember that joint, but that joint was fire. Going back and listening, I was like, yo. That joint was fire, but that joint has some bangers on there, man. Like I said, man, 45 King was like premiere, like the early premiere. Well, I think they're probably around the same time, but yeah, man, that's my number 5 for jurors, man.
No doubt, man. That thing was crazy. But what's your honorable mention, John?
No, I'm sorry, not to cut you off though. My runner up. I want to say, Lords of the Underground. I gotta mention them dudes. Because that joint, Here Come the Lords, that joint was fire, man. That Chief Rocker.
Yeah.
They was dope. They didn't really last though for some, you know what I mean? For whatever, like, you know, for that time, they had that flow that was like, you know, everybody wanted to hear, you know, because they had, but they didn't have like that staying power. I felt.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? First, you know, because they, you know, they was repping Jersey. And you know, they had that Marley Marl production. That Marley's beats, I think, is what people like more than those guys. But I gave him a runner up, man. You know what I'm saying, for that number 5 spot.
All right, yeah, that's dope. Yeah, Lords was dope, man. I agree with you. I think it was the Marley K-Def beats. I think Marley was just like at the end of his career. K-Def was kind of coming in, and you know, a lot of times, I mean, it's always been about the beats. You know, if Gangstar broke up back in '92, I don't think Guru would have been the Guru that we, you know, look at as today. So I think that's the thing with the Lords and everything. Vague, what's your number 5? Or did we already do your 5?
Nah, we didn't do a 5.
What's your 5? Well, I already know what your 5 is, but
you know what my 5 is.
Yeah.
Biggie Smalls, also known as the Notorious B.I.G., Ready to Die. Like you, the dope part about Big is the fact that, like you were mentioning earlier, how, you know, Kane and all these other artists, you know, when young dudes look at their albums and, you know, they hear us big them up, they look at when they came out and they think they were just rocking at that time. But Big had Mr. C's Best of Biggie. That shit might as well have been his debut album, as much as people was playing that mixtape back then. Shit was all over the radio. And you talking about a mixtape that's literally all his features, a lot of, you know, underground shit he did, like Dreams. And just the intro that on the shit, I forget the name of the intro on there. But you know, it built up the anticipation to this debut album, Ready to Die. And I remember the first time, I ain't gonna front, the first time I saw the cover, I was like, it was
Yeah.
nah shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I like Biggie so much, I didn't give a fuck. And then he was from Brooklyn. You know, I know I'm cool with QB, but I'm from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? But like when the album came out, like I begged my mom to take me to Beat Street and pick up the tape, which I still have. And I remember, again, like the Black Moon, I played that joint to death every day, you know, back and forth to high school. What I liked about it, and this is Puff, you know, I know a lot of people don't like him, but this was Puff doing something different. His album was cinematic, you know what I'm saying? It had a beginning, a middle, an end. You know what I'm saying? The skits fit where they need to go. And it told me a lot about Big that the mixtape didn't really tell me. The mixtape just told me it was nice.
Right.
This kind of told me, you know, okay, he's from this part of Brooklyn, he's from this street. You know what I'm saying? This is how he was feeling before he got on. You know what I'm saying? And my favorite, I mean, it's a dope. Oh, I mean, he had a feature with Method Man. I was like, how the fuck? You know what I'm saying? With the Wu-Tang at the time, with the what? That was crazy. Remember, R. Kelly had just dropped that record, and Premier already had this shit on the beat of Unbelievable.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Which was like perfect timing. I didn't like Juicy initially, but I always liked what he was saying. I didn't like Juicy because the beat, you know what I'm saying? But because of what he was saying, I could relate to Right On magazine, putting pictures on your wall. We all did that. But probably my favorite joint off of there is Everyday Struggle. Just like I mentioned with Tretch, with the Everything's Gonna Be Alright, Everyday Struggle was a record where I wasn't even going through the shit that he was talking about, but I felt like it. You know what I'm saying? Listening to the way he told the story, I could relate to it, even if it was based off of other people around me who were kind of into some of those things. And I felt like the beat was, you know, the beat was perfect. But yeah, man, Warning, Give Me the Loot. Biggie, to this day, Biggie is Brooklyn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got an opportunity a while back, you know, maybe like 99, to see Jay-Z right before the Hard Knock Life album. And I didn't even give a shit. You know what I'm saying? It was like early in the morning. It's like, oh, there's Jay-Z taking pictures in the Maybach with Bleak and but I was pissed that I never got to meet Big, because, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got to meet Kane, you know what I'm saying? And all these other people, but Big was somebody who I felt in Brooklyn felt like that. You saw when they had the funeral and all of that.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like, I don't feel like Brooklyn would have came out like that for nobody else.
Not nobody else, man. Even my brother was like, damn, this is a rapper and people going crazy. And I was like, you don't understand. He was such a representative of the core of Brooklyn, New York, the black people, the ghetto. He was us. And to win awards and be like, Brooklyn, we did it. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? He kind of had the burr on his back more than anybody. And he didn't really have to call himself Frank White. He was the king of New York, you know what I'm saying? So out of everybody I named, Big was kind of, I guess, like the peak, at least for me, of that feeling of pride from having this MC represent my borough and be able to just throw him at any argument like, yeah, but what about Big? You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
yeah, Biggie Smalls, Ready to Die, man.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. And for my last joint, this is actually the record, one of my favorite records, The Roots, Illadelph Half-Life, their second album. I ain't gonna hold you. I really ain't like Do You Want More. It was too light in the ass for me. It was too jazzy. I was tired of that shit. And my man had came through my crib. He was like, yo, I think you're gonna like this next Roots album. Like, they ain't on no jazzy stuff. He was like, yo, Black Thought changed the name to The Bad Lieutenant. Like, yo, you gonna love this album. And I'll never forget that they EAA had gotten this joint in the mail from Geffen, and they were asking you, you know, what did you think should be the single? They had Sections and they had Clones. I actually thought Sections would have been a better single. You know, my vote lost to Clones. But when I heard Clones, I heard exactly what he was talking about. Because you hear Clones versus Proceed or Silent Treatment, it almost felt like they was two different groups almost.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, and everything. I mean, I literally love every song on here. Respond, React, Sections, Panic, Episodes, Push Up Your Lighter. I love that to this day. What They Do, Concerto, The Desperados, You and I Verse at War, Clones, No Alibi, The Hypnotic, Universal Side One, just everything on there, man. And the thing I love most about this album, man, was and I always compare the Roots to Tribe in a way, because I like People's Instinctives, but again, it was a little weird for me the way they was dressing and shit. I really didn't you know, rock with it. But then when Low End dropped, it was like I was just like, wow, you know, like, okay, like these, all right, now they on they wearing jean shorts and hats, and they look regular, you know, they look regular now, you know, they ain't wearing no dashikis and shit. I was like, I don't understand that. It was almost the same thing with the Roots, where it was just like, wow, like this is them. I wasn't a big Malik B fan, you know, I could make a nerd say he's superb. I'm like, what? Like, come on, you know, and kind of like how I was with Fife on like on their first joint, People's Instinctives, because I'm like, yo, why is dude even here? You know what I mean? Like, you don't even really rhyme like that. But then when Butter, it was like, oh, okay, this is why Fife. Like, okay, I get it now. This is why my dude is here. And my favorite song off Philadelphia is Malik's solo joint, No Great Pretender. You know, and it's just, to me, almost synonymous that both these, like the second tier MCs of both those groups, just stepped up their rhyme style so much for that second album that that's it for me. I got a couple of runner-ups, just songs. Again, a lot of people may not have heard these. I'll never forget coming to Morgan in '92 and playing Tough Crew, My Part of Town, and nobody knowing what the fuck I was even talking about, you know, which is like a Philly staple. Like, if you was from Philly or whatever at that time, My Part of Town was the shit. Cool C had Juice Crew Diss Out. You know, the Youngsters with the Cruise Pop, you talked about a little bit with the Tretch joint, that was crazy. Cruise Pop was stupid. Discombobulate or Boobulator. It's an old song from MC Breeze. Again, probably if you're not from Philly, you never heard it. And there was a joint called I Go Rambo, Nicki Rap and Scratch. That's my joint for that.
I remember that shit.
You remember that?
I Go Rambo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, shit. I'm shocked, bro. I thought that was like only in Philly or something.
A lot of radio.
The one joint I had for Brooklyn that I always loved to me was this joint right here, MC Light. You know what I mean? I love this. You know, that video for Paper Thin is one of my favorite hip-hop videos ever.
Yeah.
Pulling up in the Jetta. They're like, yo, Light, why you want to take the train? We got this fly Jetta. And we're going to do a show about that, of just how hip-hop grew into being such a... I mean, I just remember a time when you could have a Jetta and you was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have Busta was like, yo, I just want my Pathfinder, and you was good. You know what I mean? Like, Kid and Play had a Volvo on the back of their album cover, and you was good. You know, I don't know where it just went from like it went from Pathfinder to fucking Range Rover, but we went from Jetta. We ain't even go from like Jetta to Accord. We just went from like Jetta to just Benz, you know, nothing better. But this joint was crazy. And for Jersey, a lot of people, and getting back with my man Tony D, YZ, this was my man right there in control of things. The Tower with the Power, all them joints, man. All these joints was crazy. Yo, Gnu, Gary, hit them with all where you're at on social media, where they could get at you. If you're on Instagram, all that. Give them all that information, bro.
Man, you can hit me up on Facebook, you know, Gary Gnu, at Mr. Gary Gnu. And that's about it, brother.
All right. Veg, where give them all your stuff, man.
All right, you could follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or even Snapchat, even though I don't snap that much and shit. At Vegas World INC. You can check out my podcast. Hip Hop Now podcast is all about news and rumors and reviews, pertaining to hip hop music and culture every week to catch you up on everything that's going on. That's on SoundCloud.com/Hip Hop Now Podcast. And also, you know, you can check me out. You can check out that podcast on Death Star Radio, which is an app that you can download. It's uncensored, brand new boom bap hip hop. Is none of that other shit. None of that trap. It's perfect, and the app is free. It's available on iOS and Android, but my show also appears on there.
All right, no doubt. You already know it is with me. I actually forgot two groups real quick from Jersey, the Crown Rulers. They had this joint out called Kick the Ball, which was crazy. He was the original Grand Poobah. He before Poobah was Poobah, there was this Poobah from South Jersey, Crown Rulers, Kick the Ball. Their album was called Paper Chase. And then also from Philly, y'all cats probably don't remember him. Again, we had another of the DJ champions from the joint they used to have in New York, Fresco and Miz. We Don't Play. That was another joint
I remember that
they had that was out of Philly. So just for that, y'all already know what it is with me. Kill889 on Twitter. We'll make beats for food.com. Y'all check y'all next week, man.